Enough about the banks for the moment, but it does look like transparency and the White Knights have momentum at this hour. Our other big story, the obvious one, the oil spill, now covering about 2,000 square miles in the Gulf of Mexico. British Petroleum planning to lower a massive containment dome. Think of it like a giant jar top that you would put over a bell jar that you would put over something, over the larger of the two remaining leaks. Remember, they plugged one, although it hasn't caused the flow to subside because it just goes to the other two holes. This is now a cap for another hole. The cleanup effort continuing above sea level amid new questions about how the Obama administration handled the crisis. News out that the Interior Department's chief of staff actually left to go on a rafting trip 3 days after the leak had been reported. 2 years ago, federal regulators told BP, in fact, that it did not have to file a plan to handle an offshore oil disaster. Good thing they didn't have a plan. The administration in full damage control mode today, sending Homeland Security Secretary Janet Napolitano to the Gulf to oversee the cleanup efforts, and the Small Business Administration offering loans of up to $2 million to small businesses affected by the spill. So imagine you're a shrimp boat operator, you've lost your job because of the oil spill, and now the government is offering you debt as a way to get through it. How nice of them. This as Democratic lawmakers push to raise BP's liability cap for damages, which is right now at $75 million. They're trying to get that waived to get it up to $10 billion. Here to mix it up, one of my favorite panels, the host of the Young Turks, Cenk and blogger and columnist for PoliticsDaily.com, Matt Lewis. It's a delight to see both of you. What strikes me, guys, when you look at all of this is the obvious problem, conflict of interest between supervisors and private business in this country. We see it with the banks. We're seeing it with the energy companies. Cenk, at what point does the revolving door that exists between somebody like MMS, who is the supervisor for BP, and the actual oil companies, or the revolving door with pick your favorite agency, lobbyist, politician, how much longer will the American people tolerate revolving doors that compromise our country's interest?
Well, again, Dylan, we come into the same exact issue that we do on almost all of these topics, which is corporate interests taking over the politicians, taking over our regulators. So from both sides here, we've got absurd claims. Mary Landrieu saying, hey, you know what, we have to be more aggressive, do more, we can't retreat, we have to do more oil drilling. It's like she's saying, let's attack the oil slick over there before it attacks us over here. Doesn't make any sense. John Boehner says the same thing. Rush Limbaugh has this fantasy about environmentalist SWAT teams that cause this problem. He's bought in by corporate interests, and nobody represents us. And Obama agreed to the ridiculous Republican plan to do more offshore oil drilling, so now he's on board. Who's fighting for us?
Matt, your perspective, and again, the issue as I see it, does the government function in a way where it serves the interests of our country, or does it function in a way where it serves the interests of those who best take care of the individuals in a given agency?
Well, look, I think you're right to compare it to the economic stuff we've been talking about over the last few weeks, because while President Obama received, I think, $1 million from Goldman Sachs, he was the largest recipient of money from BP.
Wait, but forget the politics. I think everybody gets it. The Democrats are on the take. The Republicans are on the take. It's Cenk's point. It's really my point. And we're trying to figure out how much truth has to come out effectively before both parties taking from special interest at the expense of our country can be put to a stop. You and I both know that there are conservative factions in this country, libertarian factions in this country, factions in the Tea Party that would claim and have acted in a way that would solve this problem. We also know there are progressive factions in this country who are aggressively working to solve the same problems. It's almost like two armies working on the same problem, which is game rigging in the government. Do you get the sense, Matt, that we're at a precipice of a collaboration, if you will, between the disparate political interests who are all being effectively torched by the current system, which is being conducted at most of our expense?
Well, look, I might surprise you here by, I don't want to cast too much blame on the Obama administration in terms of the actual policy. I don't know that they've done an actual horrible job of handling what they could actually do to fix this. But from a political standpoint, I think the big issue as a conservative is not this sort of conspiracy theory with the financial interest, but it's the hypocrisy. I mean, President Obama, 18 days before this oil spill, went and said that oil rigs are perfectly safe. Like I said, he took more money from BP than anybody else. The Department of Homeland Security took a week before they, called this a spill of national significance. And then we have the top guy at the Department of the Interior deciding to go rafting afterwards.
I got to wrap this up, Matt. You're not going to get an issue. I don't think you're going to get a rebuttal from me or Cenk if you're saying, listen, the Democrats have not done a good job of managing our relationship with our country's minerals. I doubt you're going to get much of a rebuttal from Cenk or myself. We're just going to say the Republicans are no better. We'll bring this one back up later. I have long on the banks at the top. You guys will talk to you soon. We'll make up for it next time.